How do we get rest, take in water, add calories, stay warm, and not lose any gear when taking a rest on slippery winter ascents? It's all in careful management and sequencing. Hello, everyone. I'm Jason. So I got a question about how to take rest stops on winter summit attempts. And last week we did a video about packing our packs and pockets in a specific way in order to facilitate efficient and truly helpful rests. Today we're going through the mechanics of those rests. If we get into deep wind chills where frozen water, food, gear, or even skin becomes a real possibility, we need to be purposeful. And let's add in the assumption that you are on a steepish snow slope. Things are less complicated on flat or dry ground, and you should seek out those spots when available. Of course, there is always that option to do whatever you need to do while on the move, but that typically will only work with whatever you keep in your pockets. Another good reason to make sure food is one of those items. There are lots of ways to sequence a rest, and terrain features, weather, and objective hazards may dictate, but here is a typical set of steps that I often use. We are trying to optimize two things: warmth and security. If I'm going to stop, I need to secure myself. That often is a two-step process. First, I can carve out a foot platform. Then I drive down the spike of an ice axe upslope of me, making sure to keep room for my pack to sit between the axe and my platform, as you'll see in a moment. An axe is typically tethered to a harness to make these anchors fast, as well as to make sure you never lose the axe. Ice axes are life-saving gear in the winter. You can see why by watching a couple of videos on how to use an ice axe, which are linked in the description. Now, I want to secure my pack. If you keep a leash girth hitched on your pack, or always have a quick draw on your harness like I do, you can secure your pack very easily. A steep snow slope, due to the low friction coefficient of snow, makes the possibility of people and stuff sliding away nearly as risky as in vertical environments, and we need to think about securing ourselves and all our belongings in almost as rigorous a way. I always want my pack facing with the shoulder straps up. I don't want the heat on my pack to make the snow bond with the fabric that later will be touching me. That's a good way to get cold. Now, if I packed my pack correctly with my most used items on top, I can actually sit on the bottom of my pack and still grab items out of the top. I put on my extra insulation. I need to manage my gloves by either putting them in a drop pocket if my mid layer has them, or stuffing them down whatever layer is being pinched shut by my harness. Either way, they are both secure and being kept warm. If neither is an option, kneeling on them may have to do. Better they be cold than get lost down the mountain. I can grab my water. Or I can pull some food from my pockets. I can fiddle with gear. Whatever's needed. As soon as I'm done pulling zippers or doing anything that needs fine dexterity though, the outer gloves go back on. Anything that I need to use is a drop hazard, like a cap to lip balm. Anything small and loose, therefore goes in my chest pocket. If I'm taking a super long break and need to boil some water, then first I want to carve my foot platform wide enough to make room for my feet and the stove on a flat surface. I may also want to pull off that bedroll that I keep on the outside of the pack and use it for extra insulation. When I'm done with my rest, it's time to repack. If the slope is such that I can do that on my feet, all the better. It'll be faster. If not, the bedroll can be used, again, as insulation for my knees. I would often get numb kneecaps from kneeling on the mountainside before I started doing this. I always repack one thing at a time so that I don't accidentally drop something with my bulky gloved hands, and always back in reverse order as the items came out. One of the things that makes rest efficient is always knowing where everything is in your pack. Always packing the same way helps that a lot. Getting your jacket off is another sequence that can be tricky with gloves. You'll have the same considerations of placing your gloves in various secure spots. The jacket goes last to limit the time I need to be managing my gloves to make sure that I'm staying warm as long as possible, and also because I want it accessible at my next stop. I make sure to get my water wrapped up in it, again, like I talked about last week. Now I can grab my pack, unclip it, immediately shoulder it, and I'm ready to move. Rest stops in precarious places are exercises in logistics. Have you ever lost gear from a mismanaged rest stop? Have you ever gotten too cold from a bad sequence? I have, and I just told you what I learned. Let us know what you learned in the comments. Thanks for watching this video. Please like, subscribe, do all the things. For more information, you can go to our website at www.shortguysbetaworks.com. And if you haven't yet, you can check out last week's video about packing our pockets and packs to facilitate these rests, or check out this entire series on managing in the cold. We'll see you next week and keep on getting more out of that big outside.